The anomaly discovery. Dr. Elena Martinez stood before the holographic display in the Central Galactic Archaeological Institute, her excitement barely contained as she manipulated the three-dimensional representation of Earth's archaeological sites. The room, filled with the galaxy's most prestigious xenoarchaeologists, hummed with anticipation. This wasn't just another research presentation, this was about to upend everything they thought they knew about human civilization. "Look at these energy signatures," Elena said, her fingers dancing through the hologram to highlight specific points across the globe. "They appear at every major archaeological site we've studied, from Göbekli Tepe to Mohenjo-Daro, from Teotihuacan to the mysterious structures beneath the Antarctic ice. The patterns pulsed with a rhythmic blue glow, forming connections that had never been visible before." Professor ZYX-427, a crystalline being from the Andromeda Galaxy, shifted forward in their hoverchair. "But Dr. Martinez, we've studied these sites for centuries. How could we have missed such obvious energy patterns?" Elena smiled, the kind of smile that suggested she was about to drop a bombshell. "Because we were looking for what we expected to find, primitive civilizations struggling to advance. We never considered that these energy signatures might be artificial constructs deliberately designed to be overlooked." The hologram shifted, revealing layers of data that had been hidden beneath the obvious archaeological evidence. Each layer showed increasingly sophisticated patterns of energy distribution, forming what appeared to be a vast network connecting ancient sites across the planet. "These aren't random energy fluctuations," Elena continued, her voice growing more animated. "They're part of a controlled experiment. Each major civilization we've studied on Earth didn't just disappear, they were graduated." The audience erupted in murmurs of disbelief. Dr. Crowell, a veteran archaeologist known for his skepticism, raised one of his four appendages. "Graduated? To where? And who would have the technology to move entire civilizations?" Elena's next revelation silenced the room. She pulled up a new dataset, this one showing similar energy signatures at various points throughout the galaxy. "To here," she said, pointing to clusters of worlds that had mysteriously developed advanced civilizations seemingly overnight. "And as for who, well, that's where things get interesting." She zoomed in on a particular sequence of energy patterns, one that appeared consistently across all sites. "These signatures contain encoded information. My team spent months decoding it, and what we found." She paused, knowing the weight of what she was about to reveal. "It's a teaching manual. Earth isn't just a planet, it's the galaxy's oldest and most sophisticated civilization incubator." The hologram shifted again, revealing what appeared to be an ancient administrative document, carefully preserved in what humans had always claimed was merely decorative cave art. The symbols, once properly decoded, read like a facility management guide. "Humanity isn't just another civilization that developed on Earth," Elena explained, her voice carrying the weight of this revelation. "They're the facility managers. The ones who have been overseeing this grand experiment for millennia." Professor ZYX-427's crystalline structure flickered with shock. "But humans seem so primitive in many ways. Their political systems, their conflicts, their environmental problems." "The perfect cover," Elena countered. "What better way to manage an intergalactic civilization testing facility than to appear as just another developing species? Every major, unexplained phenomenon in human history, every mysterious ancient technology, every lost civilization, they're all part of the program." She pulled up another dataset, this one showing a complex network of what appeared to be evaluation criteria. "Look at these patterns in human mythology. Stories of gods teaching humans agriculture, metallurgy, mathematics, they weren't myths. They were progress reports, disguised as cultural narratives." The evidence was overwhelming. The mysterious disappearance of advanced knowledge from ancient civilizations, the inexplicable gaps in archaeological records, the convenient dark ages that seemed to reset progress periodically, all of it pointed to a carefully managed educational system operating on a cosmic scale. "But why?" Dr. Crowell demanded. Why maintain such an elaborate deception? Elena's expression softened. Because, colleagues, some lessons can only be learned through experience. Earth isn't just a testing ground, it's the galaxy's greatest teaching hospital for civilizations. And humanity? They're not the patients. They're the doctors. As the implications of her discovery began to sink in, Elena prepared to reveal her final piece of evidence, one that would explain why humans had maintained this charade for so long, and what it meant for the future of galactic civilization. The truth, as it turned out, was far more extraordinary than anyone could have imagined. The hidden protocol. The discovery of the alien database changed everything. Dr. Elena Martinez and her team had spent weeks decoding the vast repository of information hidden within Earth's so-called primitive architecture, each revelation more astonishing than the last. The conference room at the Galactic Archaeological Institute had become their permanent residence, walls covered with holographic projections of data streams that seemed to mock everything they thought they knew about human history. "You're not going to believe this," Dr. Raj Kumar announced, bursting into the room with a data crystal clutched in his hand. His usually pristine research uniform was wrinkled from too many hours bent over ancient texts. "I've decoded another layer of the Sumerian tablets. They're not just historical records, they're experimental protocols." Elena looked up from her own work, her eyes bright with curiosity despite the exhaustion evident on her face. The holographic display shifted as Raj inserted the crystal, revealing intricate patterns that looked suspiciously like modern scientific methodology. "Look at this," he said, expanding a particular section of the text. Each god in the pantheon wasn't just a deity, they were project managers overseeing different aspects of civilization development. Enki wasn't teaching humanity about water, he was running controlled experiments on irrigation systems. Professor ZYX 427's crystalline form vibrated with excitement, creating a subtle harmonic hum in the room. The implications are staggering. Every ancient civilization was a carefully controlled experiment, Elena finished. But that's not even the most fascinating part. She pulled up her own findings, overlaying them with Raja's discoveries. These aren't just random experiments. They're following a specific educational protocol, one that's still in use today. The evidence was overwhelming. The mysterious disappearance of advanced technologies throughout history, the convenient dark ages that seem to reset progress periodically, the inexplicable gaps in archaeological records, all of it pointed to a carefully managed system of technological and social development. "Look at these patterns," Elena continued, manipulating the hologram to show a complex web of connections between different historical periods. Each collapse of civilization coincides perfectly with what we'd now recognize as graduation events. The Bronze Age collapse. That wasn't a collapse at all, it was a commencement ceremony. Dr. Crow, who had been unusually quiet, finally spoke up. "But why go to such elaborate lengths? Why not simply teach these civilizations directly?" "Because some lessons can't be taught, they have to be experienced," Raj explained, pulling up another dataset. "Look at these evaluation criteria. They're testing everything: resource management, social cooperation, technological innovation, cultural development. It's not just about advancing technology, it's about creating sustainable, adaptable civilizations." The hologram shifted again, revealing what appeared to be a massive timeline of Earth's history, but with annotations that changed everything they thought they knew. The Great Pyramid wasn't just a tomb, it was a hands-on engineering exam. The Library of Alexandria's destruction. A lesson in information preservation and redundancy. "But here's where it gets really interesting," Elena said, her voice dropping to an almost reverent whisper. She pulled up a new series of data points, these ones pulsing with an energy signature that seemed almost alive. These patterns suggest that the experiments aren't just about developing individual civilizations. They're about preparing for something bigger. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Professor ZYX 427's crystalline structure emitted a low frequency of surprise. "You don't mean Yes, Elena confirmed. Earth isn't just a testing ground for individual civilizations. It's a preparation facility for galactic integration. Every experiment, every rise and fall of civilization, every carefully managed discovery, it's all been leading up to something. Raj stepped forward, adding his own data to the display. Think about it. Why would you need to test so many different types of civilizations? Why carefully manage their development, ensuring they experience specific challenges and triumphs? Because you're not just teaching them how to build societies, you're teaching them how to interact with other civilizations. The hologram now showed a complex network of connections between Earth's various historical periods and similar patterns found throughout the galaxy. Each failed civilization on Earth had a corresponding successful counterpart somewhere among the stars, thriving in ways that seemed almost impossible given their supposed origins. Humanity isn't just running a school, Elena concluded, her voice filled with awe. They're running the galaxy's most sophisticated diplomatic training program. And if these readings are correct, we're approaching graduation season. As if to punctuate her words, a new alert flashed across their screens. Something was happening at archaeological sites across the planet, something that suggested the hidden protocol was entering its final phase. The question was, were they ready for what came next? The truth about humanity's role in the galaxy was about to become even more extraordinary, and Elena had a feeling they'd only scratched the surface of this cosmic revelation. The Guardian's Game. The holographic chamber at the Galactic Archaeological Institute had transformed into something resembling a cosmic detective's office. Streams of data cascaded down the walls, connecting seemingly unrelated events throughout human history in ways that made Dr. Elena Martinez's head spin. But it was Dr. Raj Kumar's latest discovery that had everyone's attention. It was hiding in plain sight, Raj explained, manipulating a three-dimensional representation of human internet traffic patterns. We've been so focused on ancient history that we almost missed the modern evidence. Look at this. He gestured, and the hologram transformed into a visualization of global entertainment media. Social media isn't just social media, Elena breathed, understanding dawning on her face. It's an observation network. Exactly, Raj confirmed. Every meme, every viral trend, every seemingly random internet phenomenon, they're all carefully crafted monitoring tools. Humanity isn't just managing ancient experiments, they're actively collecting data on modern civilization development across the galaxy. Professor ZYX 427's crystalline form shifted through various colors of amazement. But the sheer scale of this operation, how could they maintain such a deception? Elena stepped forward, adding her own data to the display. Because they made it look like entertainment. Think about it, what's the best way to hide a massive monitoring operation? Make it look like people are just having fun. The evidence was overwhelming once they knew what to look for. Every major social media platform had hidden protocols buried in its code, transmitting data to locations that shouldn't exist. Popular games weren't just games, they were sophisticated simulation environments testing different aspects of civilization development. Look at these building games humans are so fond of, Raj pointed out. They're not just entertainment, they're training programs for planetary development. Every time someone builds a virtual civilization, they're actually contributing to a massive database of possible societal configurations. Dr. Crow, who had been analyzing patterns in human literature, added his own discovery to the mix. And these science fiction stories they're constantly producing? They're not fiction at all, they're preparation manuals, getting the galaxy ready for various possible first contact scenarios. The hologram shifted again, now showing a complex web of what appeared to be entertainment franchises, each one carefully designed to test and prepare different species for various aspects of galactic civilization. Space operas teaching diplomatic protocols, post-apocalyptic stories training for resource management, superhero narratives preparing populations for the reality of beings with capabilities beyond their own. But here's where it gets really interesting, Elena said, pulling up a new dataset. These aren't just passive observations. Humanity is actively guiding development across the galaxy through these systems. Every viral challenge, every global trend, every seemingly random cultural phenomenon, they're all carefully crafted experiments. She highlighted a particular pattern that appeared repeatedly throughout human history. See these recurring themes in human culture. The constant stories about underdogs succeeding against impossible odds. They're not just stories, they're instruction manuals for civilization development, teaching through example rather than direct intervention. Raj nodded enthusiastically. And look at how they structure their own society. The seemingly chaotic political systems, the apparently random technological development, the seemingly inefficient social structures, it's all a carefully maintained illusion. They're not actually disorganized, they're running the most sophisticated civilization development program in the galaxy. The hologram now showed a vast network of connections between human cultural phenomena and developmental patterns observed in civilizations across the galaxy. Every major human trend corresponded with significant advances in other societies, all carefully managed to appear natural and independent. They're not just teachers, Elena realized, her voice filled with awe. They're guardians, guiding the development of countless civilizations without any of them realizing they're being taught. The chaos we see in human society isn't chaos at all, it's the most sophisticated teaching methodology ever devised. Professor ZYX 427 vibrated with sudden understanding. The humans' apparent technological limitations are completely artificial, Raj finished. They're maintaining a deliberately limited appearance to avoid disrupting the development of other civilizations. Every seeming mistake, every apparent setback, every supposed limitation, it's all part of the act. As if to confirm their discoveries, a new pattern emerged in the data. Something was changing in the human monitoring network. The frequency of certain types of content was increasing, specific themes were becoming more prevalent, and particular types of stories were being pushed to the forefront of global culture. They're preparing for something, Elena said, studying the patterns with growing excitement. These changes in their monitoring patterns, the shift in their cultural output, the increasing frequency of certain types of entertainment, they're getting ready to move to the next phase. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. If humanity was indeed the guardian of galactic civilization development, what did these changes mean for the rest of the galaxy? The answer, they suspected, would prove even more extraordinary than everything they discovered so far. The Cosmic University. The discovery that shook the Galactic Archaeological Institute to its foundations came from an unexpected source. It wasn't found in ancient ruins or decoded from mysterious artifacts, it was hidden in plain sight in the structure of human educational systems. Dr. Elena Martinez stood before her colleagues, her hands steady as she manipulated the holographic display showing a complex overlay of Earth's universities and previously identified energy signatures. "We've been looking at this all wrong," she announced. "These aren't just places of learning, they're scale models of the entire operation." Dr. Raj Kumar stepped forward, adding his own data to the display. "Look at how humans structure their universities," he said, highlighting familiar patterns. Multiple disciplines operating independently but interconnected, different departments studying various aspects of existence, controlled environments for testing theories, it's an exact mirror of how they're running the galactic civilization program. The hologram expanded, showing a perfect correspondence between university structures and the patterns they discovered in Earth's ancient sites. Every college campus was, in fact, a working model of the larger system humanity had been operating for millennia. But that's not even the most fascinating part, Elena continued, zooming in on specific locations. These universities aren't just models, they're control centers. Each major academic institution on Earth corresponds to a different aspect of civilization development being tested somewhere in the galaxy. Professor ZYX 427's crystalline form pulsed with recognition. The different departments are monitoring different experiments, Raj confirmed. History departments aren't just studying Earth's past, they're tracking the development of civilizations across space and time. Physics laboratories aren't just conducting Earth-based research, they're monitoring technological development across multiple species. The evidence was overwhelming. Every aspect of human higher education suddenly made sense in a new context. The seemingly arbitrary traditions, the complex hierarchies, the peculiar rituals of academic life, all of it was preparation for managing civilization development on a cosmic scale. Look at their thesis defense system, Elena pointed out. It's not just about testing knowledge, it's training for evaluating civilization readiness for advancement. Every PhD candidate defending their research is actually practicing the protocols for assessing whether a civilization is ready for the next stage of development. Dr. Crow, who had been unusually quiet, finally spoke up. The peer review process. Exactly, Elena nodded. It's a model for how they evaluate and approve civilization advancement across the galaxy. Every academic paper published on Earth is actually testing their evaluation methods for larger-scale implementation. The hologram shifted again, revealing layers of connection between Earth's academic institutions and various points throughout the galaxy where civilizations were developing. Each university department corresponded to specific types of development being monitored and guided. Their entire academic publishing system, Raj added, isn't just about sharing knowledge. It's a training ground for documenting and analyzing civilization development. Every journal article, every conference presentation, every academic debate, they're all practice for managing the actual experiments happening across the galaxy. Elena highlighted a particular pattern that had emerged in recent years. And look at this, the recent push for interdisciplinary studies isn't just about academic collaboration. They're preparing for something bigger. The increasing integration of different fields, the emphasis on combining various areas of knowledge. They're getting ready for full galactic integration, Professor ZYX, for 27 realized, their crystalline structure vibrating with excitement. Precisely, Elena confirmed. But here's where it gets even more interesting. She pulled up a new dataset, showing a strange correlation between Earth's academic calendar and certain cosmic events. These aren't just arbitrary academic years. They're synchronized with developmental cycles of civilizations throughout the galaxy. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Every graduation ceremony on Earth corresponded with a significant advancement in some distant civilization. Every new academic year aligned with the beginning of new experimental phases across the galaxy. But why maintain such an elaborate system? Dr. Crow asked. Why not simply establish direct control centers? Because this way, they're constantly training new observers, Raj explained. Every student who goes through their university system is unknowingly being prepared to participate in the larger experiment. Every professor teaching classes is actually practicing methods for guiding civilization development. Elena nodded, adding another layer to the hologram. And look at their student exchange programs. They're not just about cultural exchange on Earth, they're prototype programs for eventually facilitating interaction between different galactic civilizations. As if to emphasize their point, a new alert flashed across their screens. Something was changing in the pattern of academic activities across Earth. Universities worldwide were simultaneously implementing new programs, adjusting their curricula, and modifying their research priorities. They're entering the final phase of preparation, Elena breathed, studying the data with growing excitement. Whatever they've been preparing for all this time, it's about to begin. The truth about Earth's role as a cosmic university was clear, but they all suspected they were still only seeing a fraction of the full picture. As they prepared to dig deeper into this revelation, none of them could have predicted just how profound the final discoveries would be. The final revelation. The atmosphere in the Galactic Archaeological Institute's main chamber crackled with anticipation as Dr. Elena Martinez prepared to reveal her final discovery. The holographic displays surrounding them pulsed with data streams that painted a picture so extraordinary, it had taken her team weeks to fully comprehend its implications. What I'm about to show you changes everything, Elena began, her voice steady despite the magnitude of what she was about to reveal. We thought we'd understood humanity's role as the galaxy's teachers and guardians, but we were only seeing a fraction of the truth. She gestured, and the hologram transformed into a vast, interconnected web of light that filled the chamber. This is a real-time map of human influence throughout the galaxy. Not just their experimental sites or education centers, but something far more profound. Dr. Raj Kumar stepped forward, adding his own data to the display. We've discovered that humanity isn't just preparing individual civilizations for galactic integration. They're orchestrating the single largest cooperative effort in known history. The hologram shifted, revealing patterns that stretched across thousands of light years. Each point of light represented a civilization that humans had carefully guided, each connection showing invisible lines of influence and preparation that spanned centuries. Look at this pattern, Elena said, highlighting a particular sequence of developments across multiple species. Every civilization they've guided has been given a unique piece of a larger puzzle. Different technological specialties, distinct cultural perspectives, unique problem-solving approaches, they're building a galactic community where every society has something essential to contribute. Professor ZYX 427's crystalline form shimmered with sudden understanding. The conflicts we've observed between civilizations are carefully managed teaching moments, Raj confirmed. They're not just testing individual societies, they're teaching them how to overcome differences, how to find common ground, how to work together despite seemingly insurmountable obstacles. The evidence was overwhelming. Every major breakthrough in cooperative technology, every significant advance in interspecies communication, every breakthrough in understanding consciousness and cognition, all of it could be traced back to human guidance. But here's the true revelation, Elena said, her voice dropping to an almost reverent whisper. She pulled up a new dataset, one that had taken months to decode. Humanity isn't just preparing us for galactic citizenship. They're preparing us for what comes next. The hologram transformed again, now showing what appeared to be a map of something vast and incomprehensible. We've detected signals, Elena continued, patterns in the very fabric of spacetime that suggest we're not alone in this universe. There are others out there, civilizations and beings far beyond our current understanding. Dr. Crowell leaned forward, his multiple eyes widening. You're suggesting humanity has known about them all along, Elena confirmed. Everything they've done, every experiment, every guided development, every carefully managed interaction, it's all been preparation for something bigger than galactic civilization. They're preparing us for cosmic citizenship. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. The hologram now showed a timeline stretching far into the future, revealing phases of development that went beyond anything they had imagined possible. Think about it, Raj said, highlighting specific patterns in the data. Why would they put so much effort into teaching cooperation? Why emphasize understanding different perspectives? Why carefully guide the development of technologies that complement each other across species? Because they're building something greater than the sum of its parts. Elena nodded, adding another layer to the display. Each civilization they've guided isn't just an independent experiment, it's part of a vast cooperative network designed to face challenges we can't even comprehend yet. They're preparing us not just to exist in the cosmos, but to be active participants in its evolution. As if responding to their revelations, new data began streaming across their screens. Changes were occurring across Earth's monitoring networks, shifts in patterns that suggested something momentous was approaching. They're accelerating the timeline, Elena observed, studying the data with growing excitement. Whatever they've been preparing us for, it's coming sooner than we thought. The hologram pulsed with one final revelation, a pattern so clear they wondered how they had missed it before. Every human story about reaching for the stars, every tale of cosmic discovery, every dream of space exploration, they weren't just stories. They were promises. Humanity isn't just teaching us how to be civilized, Elena concluded, her voice filled with awe. They're teaching us how to be ready for what awaits us among the stars. And if these readings are correct, we're about to find out what that means. As the implications of their discovery resonated through the Institute, a new signal began broadcasting from Earth, a message that would forever change the galaxy's understanding of its place in the cosmos. The final phase of humanity's grand experiment was about to begin, and nothing would ever be the same.